Hello everybody and welcome back to the channel with my face for a change, because today we're not doing the Co-op career mode. That's coming tomorrow, round 12 in the USA to be precise. Don't forget to tune in to watch it. We are looking at F1 22, not F1 2022 as they've previously been named. Apparently as EA took over they needed to cut costs somewhere, so they've removed two numbers from the title. That aside, let's get into this, because the announcement trailer for the announcement trailer was released today after much fanfare and hype build-up. I actually only found out about this morning because I opened Twitter for the first time in a little while, and I believe Arava had tweeted out the time and date, which was 4 PM British time today, and we were treated to the little trailer that is now playing on Steam. No gameplay just yet, just the announcement that EA have backed this one. We got a good look at the FOM car model outside of the in-game engine. Bit disappointing, but yeah, I think this annoyed a few people. We were expecting, looking at the live chat comments, we were expecting an actual trailer for this game, but it was just this 28-second clip telling you that you could give them your money now rather than later on. But let's dive into the game and see what we're going to get this time, because last year's I think was a bit disappointing for some people, given that we were expecting these cars and we instead got a carbon copy of F1 2020 with a facelift. So hopefully this game's had a little bit of extra time just to be fleshed out with the extra year in development. So moving down to the About section of the game, we get the usual details that you would expect from a game like this. 20 drivers, 10 teams, creator team is confirmed in here, and it looks as though the Miami Autodrome circuit has been confirmed for release as well. We'll get to a few extra things about that in just a minute. The one key difference here from the descriptions up top is there is mention of a supercar mode, which seems to come with part of this F1 Life feature that we'll look at in just a second. So it looks like we're going to be able to collect cars, potentially. Not quite sure how that's going to work or what that's going to look like, but we'll find out. So of course, confirmation of the new season and the new rules. I believe that does include sprint races, cinematic pit stops, formation laps and more, so perhaps catering for the esports side. And I know that if you've watched videos on this channel, you'll know that we'll probably benefit from that here, because I tend to use the theatre mode for all of the content that we push out, in addition to graphics provided by the lovely community. A new AI system confirmed for less experienced players, so perhaps an expansion on the lower level difficulties just to keep the AI a bit racy. I think it's been done to death already, but we've seen lots of different videos out over the past few years of experienced F1 YouTubers driving one-stop races or zero-stop races. They're trying to beat the 0% AI on wet tyres in the dry, trying to win from a lap down against 0% AI. So I guess this is going to make them a little bit faster, maybe make them a bit racier so that you can enjoy it a bit more rather than being able to sail past them. I've not done any of those types of videos before. It might be fun to try out, but at the minute it's not on the table for this channel. F1 Life, this is the new feature mentioned up top. Unlock and show off supercars, clothing, accessories and more for the world to see. I like to think that this is going to be kind of similar back to the earlier F1 games that Codemasters were making. If you remember the porta cabins that we used to get on the likes of F1 2010 and 11, I know for sure have this, where you can sit in your trailer at your desk with your laptop, very similar to how you sit in the garage on F1 2021. But you've got like a little trophy cabinet in there, and you can walk around the different areas of the porta cabin to access different menus. Maybe an expansion on that, but with some more personalization. Who knows? We'll go into that in a bit more detail in a moment. My team makes a return, as you'd expect. It's been in the game for a few years now, and it has to be in there. Create an F1 team from the ground up with expanded department events and deeper livery customization. Well, hopefully the liveries are a little bit better than last year's. They did leave a lot to be desired. And now you can choose a starting budget as well. So perhaps rather than having a set budget at the start, and then you can choose a title sponsor who gives you a good cash injection and a season objective, we're also going to get to set our difficulty. Perhaps interesting, maybe starting off way below the cost cap, maybe like $70 million to start off with, just limits what you can do. Of course, the highest budget we'll be able to do is, $140 million? So I can't imagine that they're going to be able to go too hard into that, unless they're going to add restrictions perhaps to the cost cap, allow you to set it much lower, make the game a little bit harder. Who knows? We'll have to see. And of course, finally, the career mode returns with a 10-year mode as before. Nothing too different there from F1 2020 or 21. Formula 2 makes a return after it was implemented over the last couple of games. It looks as though we can do the 2021 and 2022 seasons with short, medium, and full sessions. So perhaps as fleshed out as the F1 Grand Prix mode now, which is good to see. Maybe we'll get to see F3 in the future. That would be something to look forward to. And maybe even incorporate it into the career mode going forward, or the My Team. Start off as a low-level Formula 2 custom team, and then try and work your way up, buy into a Formula 1 team, or create your own, whilst the Formula 2 project is also going on in the background. Maybe allows for a bit more expansion into the driver market. Pick up a driver from F3 who is a rising talent. Bring them through your Formula 2 team whilst you're racing in Formula 1, and then maybe promote them to Formula 1 to be your teammate in the future, maybe 2 or 3 seasons down the line, just to add some more progression for the AI, rather than just being a bunch of drivers sitting in F2 who are classed as free agents. One of the things I'm definitely looking forward to at the bottom here is this VR. So I have used F1 2021 with a piece of software called Vorpex, which allows you to use an Oculus headset. I've got an Oculus Quest 2. When that's wired into the PC, you can play around with the camera settings to make a semi-realistic setup in the cockpit cam, with some 3D features as well. If you do have an Oculus Quest and you want to try that out, Vorpex, I think it's about $40 to buy. It works with a ton of other games as well, but it's definitely worth trying. It might make you a bit sick though. The Oculus Quest 2 isn't able to process the graphics quite so well, so it's not amazing. But if you do want to get that sense of speed, then there's an option there for you. I did a few races as Daniel Ricciardo around Abu Dhabi as part of one of the weekly challenges, and it was good fun. It was good fun racing around there. Very different to driving in TCAM. Very different. Okay, let's move on to the interesting part now. The little pictures that they've added to the Steam store. So this is the list of things that you get in the standard edition of the game. So you get the F1 Life starter pack. Not sure what that is going to include. Looks like furniture, wall art, and t-shirts. So perhaps an aesthetic thing. This is one of those things that really raises a red flag for me, especially since this game is published by EA. Is this going to be a bunch of crap that we're going to have to spend money for that nobody wants, or something that we're going to require? Is this maybe the dam that could open the floodgates to future microtransactions? Hopefully not. I don't think I'm going to be too interested in this stuff unless it's going to have some kind of impact in how the game goes. I don't really see how at the moment, but we'll see. Other than unlocking the Supercars, I don't really see much of a point to this stuff so far. Again, underneath that, we've got the New Era content pack. So in-game items aspiring to the official F1 2022 New Era car. Maybe a car model, some posters or whatever to put into this virtual space that we're being promised here. And then 5,000 Bitcoin, which in the previous game, 2021, is just over half of what you need to buy the gold pass for for the season. So with that, you won't be able to get the gold pass unless you spend real money, if that's still going to be a feature in the game. Or you can spend it on liveries, helmets, or these in-game space items, maybe a nice sofa. Then we move on to the Champions Editions. This is probably the version that I will be buying, which we'll get onto the costs in a moment. It's going to be a pretty tough one, I think, for a lot of people this year. So this is a limited time only. So before May 16th, you can, if you order this before May 16th, you can get a limited time bonus, which is the Miami themed content pack. As we said earlier, that I think confirms that Miami is going to be in this game at launch. And I'm guessing t-shirts, wall art, sofas, maybe a livery. We'll have to see what these content packs are actually going to be. The 3-day early access makes a return over last year's game. Of course, this is the primary reason that I want to get this edition of the game, just so I can start making content and playing this thing as soon as possible. I've already put the request in at work to have that week off. We'll get to the release date in a minute, so you know exactly when that's going to be. My team icons, again, not really something that I'm too interested here. I just kind of make the same bog standard logo that I've made in all the other games and then leave it at that for the entire time. I think the only thing I've changed on the current one is the colours and maybe the shape in the background, but only through stuff I've unlocked with the season pass. And other than that, the only other difference here are 18,000 Bitcoins, which over the previous game was enough for 2 seasons worth of gold pass. Although within each of those seasons, you do actually get more than enough to buy the next season's gold pass. So, you'll have at least, if you get to level 30 or whatever it is, you're going to have to get to have at least 9,000 Bitcoins again. You're going to have about 9,000 extra coins to spend on liveries and things at launch. And hopefully those are a lot better. As we said, last year's weren't particularly good. Enough said on that, I think. So now we get onto the costs as we see the screenshots from the trailer resurface once again. The pre-order standard edition, £50, quite excessive. We're sort of entering AAA title here. And it looks as though since I last looked at this, it's now got on sale for the Champions Edition is now on sale for $62.99. That's 10% off. And I think that's because we're going into the absurd territory here. Because why the hell, even for Champion Edition, would you want to pay $69.99? I mean, come on. This has got EA written all over it. I'm sorry. But that price is ridiculous. That's more than a lot of the editions of Call of Duty were. And there were like 6 or 7 of those released for the different editions of the Xbox. And the PS4 and 5. What are we doing here? Come on. I know that we need to pay the devs and, prices are going up, but, the consumer doesn't have to suffer this badly, surely. And given that it is EA, we're likely going to see microtransactions anyway, so it's not like they're going to go without their money. So just for the benefit of everyone here, I actually just had a look at my purchase history because I bought the Deluxe Edition last year, which is the equivalent to this Champions Edition. That retailed at launch at £58. So before this sale came in, you're already looking at a £12 price increase. And by the looks of things, there's been backlash over this already. So a rocky start in that we had a trailer for a trailer and already a 10% price cut. Before we've even... And we're barely 2 hours after the game has been announced. I do feel bad for those people, and I know they're out there who will have bought that game at full price, and I hope they get their money back for that, because I think that goes to show the state of affairs among the community. Final takeaway from here, coming 1st of July 2022. If you... Of course, pre-order the Champions Edition, you're going to get that 3 days early, so you'd be looking on the Tuesday of that week, the 1st of July being a Friday. Expect to see videos on this channel from day one, if I can make them fast enough, I sure will try and do everything I can to make sure that they're up on the channel and all finished, and that we try and have a few videos that week just to celebrate. If you're wondering, at my current upload rate, the 2021 series will get to Season 3, Race 10 before this game is released, so I'm going to have to do some ungodly editing to try and get all of these races out. I'm pretty sure that June is just going to be daily uploads. I'm going to have to get ahead of myself on the editing side of things, I think. Otherwise, we're going to be overlapping games, and we don't want that at all. So, there we go. Final thoughts. Yeah, bit of a disappointing launch. I'll be sticking around to see how long this 10% sale goes on for before I make any decisions on that. But I'm glad to see that price has come down. And we're excited to see what this game has to bring. It's had a bit of extra time in development, I hope, so maybe we've got something a little bit special on our hands here. Let me know your thoughts down in the comments below. Will you be buying the game? Which edition will we be buying? Do you even care about F1 Life? It seems a bit of an odd thing to add, but let's see how things go. Don't forget to like and subscribe as well. Catch you in the next one.